With all this evidence and detail, could there be something in this that suggests, at the very least, a new species on this planet? Finally, on the morning of November 19th, 2018, Cusco Congressman Armando Villanueva Mercado presided over a hearing about the mummies. Scientists whom had participated in the study of the Peruvian mummies from different countries were invited. Every scientist had 15 minutes to present their data. Several groups presented tomography analysis, describing their anatomical structure. 3 groups presented results of DNA studies of different samples. All of these groups worked independently. With respect to the tomography analysis, the results were presented by Mexican Navy pathologist Dr. Jose Jesus Salsa Benitez and biologist Jose de los Rios Lopez, also from Mexico, and from Peru, radiologist Dr. Raimundo Salas Alfaro and surgeon Dr. Edson Salazar Vivanco. Dr. Galiki presented the results of Russian studies, focusing on the analysis of the characteristics of the body structure not noted by other researchers. In general, all came to the conclusion that the anatomical structure of all mummies is different from humans. Mummies are so complex that any possibility of counterfeiting is eliminated. Biologist Ricardo Renga of the Mexican company Abraxas Biosystems presented the results of the DNA analysis of the small mummy, Victoria. Sen4Gen Labs from Canada performed a sample processing and sequencing. The fact that it was possible to extract DNA clearly indicated that the sample was from biological tissue. The same conclusion was made in the Russian laboratory of V.S. Baronov. The Canadian laboratory had a greater amount of material, so that they were able to do better sequencing. The computerized analysis of the data showed that this DNA does not coincide with any human being or living organisms. Comparisons were facilitated with microorganisms, bacteria, and animals such as primates, crocodiles, and turtles. The conclusion was that the specimens were an unknown species of living beings. Therefore, the data from genetic studies, the tomography analysis, and the elementary composition of bodies clearly demonstrated that the mummies were genuine and required more serious research. All the groups worked independently, using their own resources and finances. The main objective of these presentations was to attract the attention of the Peruvian scientific community and to transfer the investigation to the official level. After the scientific presentations, a Peruvian archaeologist was given the floor. He stated that all the data presented was absolutely unacceptable. No one knows where these mummies were found and how they were extracted. No archaeologist was involved. There was no official authorization. And it is unclear on what basis all the studies presented were made. Who authorized it? And where were the samples obtained? He didn't even want to consider the results, or that his own organization wanted nothing to do with the find from the beginning. Other official representatives of Peruvian science were not so blatantly negative. The Peruvian archaeologists' speeches were more neutral, but none of them supported the continuation of the investigation at any level.
The Ministry of Culture, until last Friday, was interested in participating. I went there personally to talk to the Ministry of Culture myself, but for unknown reasons, they've backed down from participating.
After all the findings were presented, the Peruvian government went dark. There was no verdict by the government. Was the evidence too convincing? Was there not enough? But then, something unexpected happened. Despite all the backlash from the anthropologists and archaeologists, a university took interest in the bodies. About 190 miles south of Lima, in the Nazca region, sits the Universidad San Luis Gonzaga in the town of Ica. This university is well known for scientific and technological studies that will help forward the world in changing times, specifically in the country of Peru. Is it possible that from the research gathered thus far, that the university saw potential to dive deeper? The research facility has all the bodies but Josefina, which is being held back by Mario. Mario believes it has great value and refuses to give it to the university. And so, the investigation continues, but in their hands.